Jacqueline from Project Most here. Today we're going to do an activity that doesn't require a lot of materials. You actually only need 2, maybe 3 things. And it's an art activity that you can do any place. You could do it inside, you could go outside and do it in your yard, you could do it in the car while you're riding. So it's a very versatile activity. The 2 things that I like to use are nice thick white paper and a pen. The optional thing would be colored pencils or crayons, but you can use markers, you can use crayons. You'll see in a couple of minutes what we're going to be doing, and you can figure out what materials work best for you. It's basically drawing and then filling in. So it's what you like to use to draw. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up your design, and for this you close your eyes. So I'm going to use my black pen. It's a little bit thicker. It's a gel ink pen, but I could use a regular pen too. I could use a pencil. I've done this with crayons. I'm going to make an outline that I'll be filling in. It's an abstract drawing. And I like thick paper. Mine's actually part of a sketch pad. I like thick paper because it doesn't shift when I'm coloring in or drawing patterns, but you can use any paper, white paper, construction paper, any paper that you have around. So I'm going to remember where my notebook is, and I'm going to close my eyes and put my pen down, and I'm going to draw a design without looking. The key to the surprise is that you don't look. So I'll make sure I start my pen on my paper so I can open my eyes for that, but then after this I close it. And I have my other hand here. This helps me figure out where the edge of my paper is. So I'm not going to make it too complicated, but I think I'll go back and forth so I get some crisscrosses, because it's good to have crisscrosses. And I think I'm going to the top and the bottom. You don't have to draw this first part fast. You can go slow, like I slowed down when I realized I might be out of control. All right, so I thought I went all the way to the edges of the paper, but I didn't, but that's okay. And I tried to end my pen where I started, connected, but that's a very difficult thing to do. But I got pretty close. So this is where I ended, and this is where I started. So I would like to connect those. I'm going to connect them with a straight line. There we go. So now it's completely closed. Now I take a minute to take a look at it. It's almost like when you're looking at the clouds in the sky and you try to imagine what this could be. Or you're looking at the shape of a stick and you say, hey, that looks like a crocodile. Or you're looking at a piece of fruit that you have and say, wait a minute, this piece of fruit looks like my mom's hair when she gets out of bed in the morning. It's kind of sticking off on one side if you have some sort of fruit that has like maybe a strawberry with the top sticking off. So we're going to look at your drawing, or you're going to look at your drawing, I'll look at mine, and I'll say, what does this look like? It could be something that it actually looks like, and I'm going to turn it into, like, I see a fish. Here's its mouth, here's its eye, here's where its fin could be, and its bottom fin, and this could be its tail. I could do a fish. I also thought it looks kind of like the locomotive engine of a train. So here's the front of the train. It would be driving this way. This is that part that pushes things off the tracks, like trees that are on the tracks. And then this is where the driver sits, and this is the engine part. I could add some wheels. Or I could do it totally abstract, which is sometimes what I like to do, not turning it into something. I could say, ooh, I really want to fill this with reds and oranges and yellows, and then over here I'm going to do some black and whites. So you have some freedom with your design. I think even though I see a fish, and even though I see the locomotive engine of a train, today I'm going to do a little bit of abstract drawing. So I'll start with my pen again, and this scoop right here looks like it needs some circles on it. So I'm just going to draw some circles to add a little detail. I don't have to start with my black pen, but I wanted to. I could go straight to colored pencils. On this one, I'm going to draw some lines. I'm filling in the whole space. You don't have to, but I would like to. Over here, it's kind of like an oval shape. I think I'm going to fill in lines again, but I'll do them squiggly this time, and I'm moving my pen nice and slow so that I get a good line. I'd like to stay inside these outlines. For something like this, I like to stay in a contained area. I don't want to scribble beyond. This looks like something I want to make a solid color. So I think I'm going to switch to my colored pencils now. Orange. I like colored pencils because they are easy to use and you can get the points nice and sharp so that you can go right to the edges, and you can sort of erase colored pencils. It depends which colored pencil you use. You could use markers. Markers would be good for filling in spaces. You could use crayons, although you know crayons, the tips aren't as pointy. You don't usually sharpen crayons, even though some of the boxes come with a crayon sharpener. I've never had much success sharpening them. So I filled that one in with orange, and I'd like to do some red. I think over here I'm going to do some red, but maybe for this one I'll do some red lines. So this is an example of making it abstract. I'm doing colors and patterns and whatever seems like it would fit in that space and fill it up nicely. Oh, that last line was a little crooked. And let's see, I think I'm going to bring some blue into it. So down over here, I can shade in some blue. So you can have fun with it. Now, if I wanted to turn this into a fish, I could still do it. Could have a fish with a pattern in it. But what I would do is I would use either my black pen or maybe I'd go right to my colored pencils. But I would draw the eyes and the fins, all the elements that turn it from the abstract scribble, or whatever you want to call my eyes closed starting line, into a fish. So maybe I'll do that. I'm changing my mind a little bit as I go. So I lightly colored this one. I don't want to go super dark on all of them. This one I made nice and totally opaque. I really took my time to fill in the white, but this one I kind of shaded. So let me see if I can turn this into a fish. So my pen is a little thin, but I'm going to give it a try. This looks like the eye area to me. Maybe this isn't a real fish. So I'm drawing the eyeball of the fish. If I had a thicker pen, that would have gone quicker. I could use my colored pencil, my black pencil, to really get a nice thick line. There we go. Oh, except my pencil point broke. Let's see what I can do. Or I could use a Sharpie for this. So I have a sort of outlined eye. Let me go back and draw this eyeball part. And there we go, because fish usually have big, round eyes. And I think since this isn't a real fish, I'm going to give it eyelashes too. This fish looks awfully surprised to me. I don't know what it's surprised about, but its eyes are wide open. And it has a round nose, which I'm not crazy about. Usually fish have more pointed, but I'm wondering, there's actually a fish that has that bump on its nose. I've seen it in pictures. So I can add a little bit. I won't completely get rid of that bump, but I'll add a little bit right here to kind of smooth it down. And this fish needs a little bit of teeth. It's a friendly fish, but maybe he needs to chew his food. So I'll give him or her some teeth. Not huge teeth. If I wanted to make an aggressive fish, or a fish that really needed to eat something, I could make big teeth, but I'm not going to go with that one. And I'll change the shape of the nose a little bit. There we go. It's more like a shark nose now, or maybe a dolphin nose. Or maybe I will. I'm not liking this round nose. Here I am, changing my mind again. There we go. I rounded it out. I like this much better. So here's my original line, and here's just where I added, and I like the shape of that. And so this was what looked like a fin to me. Now usually fins are a little pointy, so I'm just gonna modify it a little bit. And just gonna have almost like a shark fin, because again, this is a make-believe or a fantasy fish, so I can do whatever I would like. All right. And I'm going slowly, and I'm thinking, I'm not rushing, because once I draw on it, it will be hard to change it. This looks like its bottom fin. I think I'm gonna make that pointier, and I'll add this scoop here to make it look like its body is connected, and maybe I'll add a scoop here. Maybe this fish has, so this was here already, maybe it has a second fin. I don't know every fish in the world, so there could be a fish around that looks similar to this. Wouldn't that be interesting? And then here's the tail. So I'm going to make it this kind of tail. Oh, my pen didn't work. Boy, what a short tail for a wide fish. I worry my fish is not going to be very fast. It's a slow swimmer. It's got a short tail, so it can only do a little wiggle when it wants to swim, but that's okay. Look how colorful it is. All right, so I started with my blind drawing where my eyes were closed and I draw without looking. Then I opened my eyes, and remember we visualized kind of like clouds in the sky. I saw the fish in the train, and I started doing patterns because I didn't think I wanted to do the fish, but then I thought it would be fun to turn it into a fish. So now we have that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep coloring it, but now I've got a fish to work with. So I'll add some color over here. I think I'll add some patterns and some designs. If you choose to do this activity, which I hope you do, I think it would be great if you posted your drawing on our Facebook page in the comment section. We always like seeing what people do. And have fun with it. Take your time, color it in. Maybe you'll come out with something that you like so much, you'll hang it up on your wall or someplace in your house, or give it to a friend or a family member as a gift. This is how my fish came out. I experimented with some different colors, some lines, I did some black and white, some patterns. I did a little bit of shading, and I did some pretty solid colors. Turned out to be a pretty yellow fish, which surprised me because I don't usually do a lot of yellow in my drawings, but it felt like a yellow fish. So it started out as a squiggle, then it turned into something with some patterns, and then I felt like I wanted to turn it into something sort of real, even though this is an imaginary fish. Like I said, please post your final drawings on our Facebook page at Project Most. We would really like to see what you did with this.